HMAS Stuart, FFH 153. HMAS Stuart, FFH 153, is an Anzac-class frigate of the Royal Australian Navy RAM. She was built at Williamstown in Victoria and commissioned into the RAN in 2002. The frigate is operational as of 2016. Design and construction. The Anzac-class originated from RAN plans to replace the 6 River-class destroyer escorts with a mid-capability patrol frigate. The Australian shipbuilding industry was thought to be incapable of warship design, so the RAN decided to take a proven foreign design and modify it. Around the same time, the Royal New Zealand Navy RNZN was looking to replace 4 Leander-class frigates, a deterioration in New Zealand-United States relations, the need to improve alliances with nearby nations, and the commonalities between the RAN and RNZN ships' requirements led the two nations to begin collaborating on the acquisition in 1987. Tenders were requested by the Anzac ship project at the end of 1986, with 12 ship designs including an airship submitted. By August 1987, the tenders were narrowed down in October to Bloem plus Vossie's MECO 200 design, the M-class later Carol Dorman class offered by Royal Shelda, and a scaled-down Type 23 frigate proposed by Yarrow Shipbuilders. In 1989, the Australian government announced that Melbourne-based shipbuilder Aimken, which became Tenix Defence, would build the modified MECO 200 design. The Australians ordered 8 ships, while New Zealand ordered 2, with an unexercised option for 2 more. The Anzacs are based on Bloem plus Voss MECO 200 PN or Vasco da Gama class frigates, modified to meet Australian and New Zealand specifications and maximize the use of locally built equipment. Each frigate has a 3,600-ton, 3,500 long-ton, 4,000 short-ton full-load displacement. The ships are 109 meters, 358 ft long at the waterline, and 118 meters, 387 ft long overall, with a beam of 14. 8 meters 49 ft and a full load draft of 35 meters 14. 3 ft. A combined diesel or gas cutout propulsion machinery layout is used, with a single 30,172 horsepower 22,499 kW General Electric LM2530 gas turbine and 2 8,840 horsepower 6,590 kW MTU 12 T-83 diesel engines driving the ship's 2 controllable pitch propellers. Maximum speed is 27 knots 50 km/h 31 mph. And maximum range is over 6,000 nautical miles 11,000 km, 6,900 mi at 18 knots 33 km/h 21 mph, about 50% greater than other MECO 200 designs. The standard ship's company of an Anzac consists of 22 officers and 141 sailors. As designed, the main armament for the frigate is a 5-inch 54 caliber Mark 45 gun, supplemented by an 8-cell Mark 41 vertical launch system for RIM 7 Sea Sparrow or RIM 162 evolved Sea Sparrow missiles, 212, 7mm 0.50 machine guns, and 2 Mark 32 triple torpedo tube sets, initially firing Mark 46 torpedoes, later upgraded to use the M-Uninetti impact torpedo. They were also designed for, but not with, a close-in weapons system. 2 mini Typhoons fitted when required from 2005 onwards, 2 quad-canister Harpoon anti-ship missile launchers which were installed across the RAN vessels from 2005 onwards, and a second Mark 41 launcher which has not been added. The Australian Anzacs use a Sikorsky S-70B2 Seahawk helicopter. Plans to replace them with Kaman SH-2G Super Sea Sprites were cancelled in 2008 due to ongoing problems. Stuart was laid down at Williamstown, Victoria on 25 July 1998. The ship was assembled from 6 hull modules and 6 superstructure modules. The superstructure modules were fabricated in Whangarei, New Zealand, and hull modules were built at both Williamstown and Newcastle, New South Wales, with final integration at Williamstown. She was launched on 17 April 1999 by the wife of Admiral Chris Barry, the chief of the Defence Force, and commissioned into the RAN on 17 August 2002. Operational history. In April 2003, Stuart was used to capture Pong-su, a North Korean-owned freighter involved in drug smuggling operations. Several people were arrested ashore as part of an Australian federal police operation on 16 April, but Pong-su refused police orders to sail to the nearest port. A New South Wales police launch attempted to detain the ship off Eden, New South Wales on 18 April, but was unable to do so because of heavy seas. Stuart was deployed to board and capture the merchantman after scrounging sailors from other ships to make up for those on leave for the Easter weekend, embarking a Seahawk helicopter, and taking on board Special Forces personnel from the Special Air Service Regiment and the Clearance Diving Team. Accompanied by 2 police launches, Stuart intercepted Pong-su 90 nautical miles 170 km 100 mi off Sydney on 20 April. The Special Forces successfully boarded the ship, and she was sailed to Sydney by a RAN steaming party. In 2004, Stuart was deployed to the Persian Gulf as part of Operation Catalyst. On 24 April, Stuart, the patrol boat USS Firebolt, and the cruiser USS Yorktown were patrolling around the Al Basra Oil Terminal Abat and Khor Al Amaya Oil Terminal Khat, with Stuart's commanding officer in tactical control of the 2 American warships. Around 19:00, a dhow sailed into the Khat security zone. Firebolt sent a rib to board the dhow and order the vessel away, but as the rib drew alongside, the dhow exploded. Stuart, 1 nautical miles 6 km 7 mi away, began sailing to assist, while the Australian ship's S-70B2 Seahawk helicopter, 6 nautical miles 11 km 9 mi away, diverted to the explosion site. The Seahawk and a rib from Stuart began assisting survivors from Firebolt's boarding party. After experiencing difficulty in handling the injured Americans, the Seahawk's sensor operator dived into the water to assist. Casualties were brought aboard Firebolt, then transferred by helicopter and boat to Stuart. Meanwhile, 2 more dhows attempted to attack Abat. The explosion of the first dhow was the prelude to a coordinated attack on the oil terminal, but were fended off by the facility's Iraqi security team and detonated before reaching their targets. 3 of the 7 personnel aboard Firebolt's rib were killed, and the other 4 were seriously injured. The Seahawk's sensor operator was later awarded the Medal for Gallantry for his actions during the incident. In February 2006, fire broke out about HMAS Mana, Stuart's sister ship. Mana's Sea Sprite helicopter was diverted to Stuart, while the fire was put out by the crew. On the morning of 13 March 2009, Stuart was one of 17 warships involved in a ceremonial fleet entry and fleet review in Sydney Harbour, the largest collection of RAN ships since the Australian bicentenary in 1988. The frigate was one of the 13 ships involved in the ceremonial entry through Sydney Heads, and anchored in the harbour for the review. On 22 March 2011, while operating off Somalia as part of Combined Task Force 151, Stuart machine-gunned an unmanned skiff being towed by MV Sinarcutis, a hijacked cargo carrier operating as a pirate mothership. The skiff was destroyed. This was the first time an Australian warship had fired in anger at Somali pirates. On 11 April 2011, Stuart interdicted the Yemeni-flagged dhow named Al-Shahar 75. A boarding party from the frigate rescued 3 crew members being held hostage, while the 15 Somali pirates, who had surrendered as Stuart approached, were allowed to return to their skiff and sail to shore after their weapons and equipment were disposed of. In October 2013, Stuart participated in the International Fleet Review 2013 in Sydney. In November 2014, Stuart and sister ship Parramatta were deployed to shadow a Russian naval force operating in international waters off Australia during the 2014 G20 Brisbane summit. The Russian deployment was believed to be in response to troubled recent relationships between the two nations. Stuart is the last ship of the Anzac-class to undergo the anti-ship missile defense S&D upgrade. The upgrade will include the fitting of CA Technologies CFAR and C-mount phased array radars on new masts, a Vampire NG infrared search and track system, and Sharp-Eye navigational radar systems, along with improvements to the operations room equipment and layout. Work commenced in early 2016 and is due to be completed by 2017. HMAS Stuart joined KDB Darulasan, HMAS Sirius, USS Rafael Peralta and RSS Supreme on their way to Pearl Harbor, Hawaii in preparation for RIMPAC 2020 on 6 August. RIMPAC 2020 will scheduled to start on 17 August.